Chairman, just a foundation, please. Mr. Chairman, please. These are very important matters for the Ghanaian people. It's important that we delve into them. For example, Mr. Chairman, Newmont Golden Ridge Limited has been mining in the Ajenjua Bepu Forest Reserve since 2010, Mr. Nominee. Anglo Forest Reserve for ages. Ghana Bauxite has been mining in the Afua Hill Forest Reserve since 1940. Ghana Manganese has been mining in the Bonza Rivers. Will the protect, and if so, when?
To repeat his answer.
Chairman, I think I answered the question, but let me say that these very reputable international companies who have been mining the forest been degraded and destroyed to take over our forest, and all this illegal mining activity, the Blue Water Initiative, the biodiversity and the ecological life of our forest damage. And that is why we are going forest reserve.
Honorable, can you define these? What do you mean?
Illegal mining in this forest reserve. I think that's what I was trying to describe.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Soini.
Oh, Chairman. One more question.
Thank you.
Oh, just one more.
Thank you.
Soini, you yield to me.
And you think I'll do that?
Yield to me.
Why do you think I'll do that? You have not ended. You have not ended. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Honorable Kofi. Honorable Amabua is an astute gentleman who has deep knowledge in the area that he has been nominated to serve in. And I have known closely with him, and I can attest to his passion. And so I can only wish him well and hope that he will carry that same zeal and commitment and passion to the ministry to make not only his constituent, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has reposed his confidence in him, proud, but the whole country very proud. But because long way to convince the good ends, once again, Honorable Nominee, congratulations. It remains a major concern in this country, causing environmental degradation, water pollution, and loss of arable land. Honorable Nominee, while balancing the need for sustainable livelihoods for local communities.
Chairman, I have a three-pronged approach and prevention that at the local level in the engage our chiefs, our community leaders. We must sensitize them. We must give them the training needed. This is why. And Chairman, let me tell you, mission, 3 million Ghanaians are involved in illegal mining activities, directly and indirectly. And so
bear with me.
Let the
he just made a statement that 3 million
What
Ghanaians,
will happen is that
Mr.
hold your question down. Let the nominee finish with the answer. Then I can give you the floor to do a follow-up.
Mr. Chair, let's have an interaction. He's a fine man. Let's have an interaction.
And so once that happens, all approved areas, how do we allow that to happen? We have talked about decentralizing operations of the regulatory institutions. Because one of the reasons why so many people are engaged in illegal mining is that the processes for getting a license, but these communities you can even do it at the comfort of your computer and register. I'm very happy that the Minerals Commission is making progress. It's true that we are going to recategorize mining. As we speak, it's small scale and large scale. And guess what? 25-acre land. And then you do one small scale here. Contiguously, if you put it together, you are doing large scale. But we don't have the classification, and that is why we are saying that we're going to recategorize mining, which will really be the support system for this cooperative mining, providing support, providing assistance, working with the universities to bring geologists and experts to be in the same location. The mission is to create a system that allows everybody to feel that it is easy to do legal mining, and that's what we'll pursue.
Thank you. A follow-up.
Yeah. People are involved in illegal. Okay, that's fine.
You also said that you are going to ensure recategorization. Recategorization.
That's the plan.
Yes. Now, I want to hear from you solutions. I've heard you lament a lot. You talk about the pollution, turbidity of water, and all that.
Oh, keep quiet. Are you in the chair?
So,
Order. Order.
Leader, I want you to elucidate on the effect. And the catchword is positive. What will be the positive effect on this, your concept of recategorization?
As I said earlier, the recategorization will allow for easy monitoring and supervision. It will also help build capacity and allow small-scale miners to move. You know, as Ghanaians, what are we looking for? We are looking for the day where we don't even need foreigners to come and do large-scale mining. This process is also going to help build the capacity of our own people.
Good monitoring.
I think, as I said, what licenses? I know that so many people who are doing small scale have about 20, 30 licenses. And they are mining. You know, the requirement is that if you are small scale, you have 25 acres of land. I'm saying that they have the capacity of medium scale. And they are all making sure that we support the geological survey to intensify geological investigation to identify mineralized locations. It will all be where the gold is. And that is the plan. And once we do that, there's a lot of advantages of scale that we will get.
Just this. You see, leader, with respect, let's not reinvent the wheel. This statement of strengthening the geological Chairman, just a minute. Strengthening the geological department for you to give a confirmation of where the gold is. That has been done already, with respect to you. That has been done by our country. So what we want to hear from you with respect, you are rehashing what has been done already. Leader, with all respect to you, I'm not asking this question to question your competence, but I'm telling you that has been done. What is the solution? Prefer solutions rather than telling us what has been done already.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I take this vetting very seriously. So that when I got the opportunity to be nominated, I spent 9 hours with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And as I speak, I have even the experts, or some of them with me. I have been told, for example, by the Geological Survey that if he talks about some of the projects, right, as you speak, Minerals Commission has given them one project, which costs about 10 million, and another one, they are doing 2. They are saying that if they can finish 12, then we can make a lot. So there's a lot of work to be done. And so I'm not speaking out of...
Any further question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll just do a follow-up on the question regarding the recategorization. Honorable nominee, is it the case that the idea of the recategorization is to make room for how our small-scale miners, quote and unquote, have small-scale mining, as it was then termed galamsey, was head pan and shovels. Now you have people with... Is it the case that this recategorization as the big gauge in what is...
I couldn't have...
Right, for a second follow-up.
Lands. It's a big issue in this country, and it was discussed earlier around this table. And especially when they are leased to political allies. In the not too distant, indiscriminately. This question is allowed? Yes. There are many examples that have been discussed, and Mr. Chairman came from his ministry.
Address the chair and proceed to ask your question.
Officials of the regime have been accused of acquiring on this. And what action do you plan to any other state lands that are yet to be encumbered?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, as I stated, His Excellency the President is very passionate about this issue. He has already directed the Sale Lease Lands Commission has been directed to unity with your help appropriately for the right actions to be taken.
Mr. Chairman, a follow-up on this one. Honorable nominee, things may appear similar, but not the same. When we hear conversation, but we know allowed 4 parcels of land to be allocated through proper regulations and appropriate compensations paid by officers who acquired these lands. Can you tell us the difference that you notice in the implementation of this rezoning, where in the past, say under President Mills, under President Rawlings, some past administration, things may appear similar but not the same, being the guiding principle as you answer?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, indeed, there are all sorts of, I think about 5 categories, different categories. I think the main are acquired by the state, compulsory acquired by the state, paid for a particular purpose. But over the years, the particular purpose for which that land was acquired has changed. So the land is not the mills, and a lot of transparent processes were done. I think that is really what we are talking about. But I think the very important point that I made, and I'm going to make it, as a minister, and this is my personal view, as land minister, I see something fundamentally wrong for me as a minister to be arrogating to myself lands that I've been given the opportunity to supervise. If there's really, then those lands must be, whose land we are holding in trust are not shortchanged, and that's what I intend to do.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee, for that. Like I said earlier, I have no doubt at all about your competence, and I join many other Ghanaians who share that same view. And so we are wishing you well, and we hope that you live up to the expectation. My last question is on land guards, land guardism. The incidence of land litigation, double sale of land in Ghana has been recurring, especially in our cities. What will you do as a minister to address this situation, especially when people, do this because of, engage land guards because of this double sale of lands? What are you going to do about the double sale of land, which leads to land guardism in some cases? Thank you once again, and congratulations. The very best of luck to you, Honorable Nominee.
In this issue, as minister, what I will make sure we do is to make sure we strictly enforce this act.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity. I would like to create your indulgence and defer the opportunity given me to the immediate past Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the first question.
Please. Honorable members, I understand Honorable Amprechum is here as a subject matter committee. Let me remind all of us that Standing Order 217 is very clear. If Standing Order 217 allows leadership of the subject matter committee to say that I now will not have any question to ask, I will proceed to give the floor to another person. Honorable members, order. Honorable Amprechum, the floor is yours. You have the floor. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, there is no need for any noise, please. Why should there be? Yes. Please.
The honorable member who introduced himself. Yes, sir.
Out of order. Please. 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 Amprechum, you have the floor, Honorable.
Thank you,
Amprechum.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman, thank you for giving me this opportunity to ask my question to my good friend, Honorable Kofi Buah. In all honesty, I see in him somebody who will do a good job if he's given the nod. You can't direct me.
The chair.
Chair, advise the members.
Honorable and Prachum, address me.
Yes.
Address me.
You throw fire, I will throw fire. Yes.
Senior member talking. Senior member.
Withdraw. Police have got to behave. You don't come. I want to find out from you, first and foremost, if you are going to allow chiefs to be part of the issuing authority of licenses, mining licenses.
I think that land administration in Ghana, my experiences as a member of parliament from a mining district, the reason why I kept talking about these fingertips of the past, when you are in your village one morning, a guy comes to you and waves his, meets this guy, they say this is the Abusuapenyin. He go and see him, he buy him the drink and give him all the things he has to give him, pour the libation, and the guy go and start, before we know it, there's a problem. There's a problem because the guy that he saw and gave him all that drinks is not Abusuapenyin, in fact. When we decentralize, when we get with the authorities at the local level, what it means is that the processes will be done in a way, you know, the requirement now is that before you give licenses, you have to go and give notice and do public hearing. Does that happen? No. So, these are attempts at empowering the people at the local level to be able to give proper feedback so that all the challenge you've seen, I have witnessed prospecting licenses being given to a mining company, going to somebody's cocoa farm and tearing it down. And then there's problem. These things will help. But more importantly, we are also doing that to empower the people at the community level, saying to them, you are very important in this process. We are not going to do anything without you. In any event, you have access to us and give you the capacity.
Honorable nominee, my question was very specific, and it looks like you have just been more specific.
Honorable and Prachum, you may not like the answer.
A specific answer. And if the answer is, but I will go back, that I will want a specifics. Would you permit chiefs to be part of the issuing of mining licenses?
Chairman, you know, when you are drafting a policy, you envision it and you think about the problems that has happened in the past. I've just described why we are moving in that direction. I believe that it is obvious to me that if we are setting up a local board or authority at the district level, key stakeholders have not gotten to that point yet. I believe that, Honorable Member Chairman, if you give me the chance to go to the ministry, we will fine-tune those policies. And I'm sure that I'll come here and I'll be able to give you concise answers.
Any further questions?
Thank you. I know we'll be around to give you all the help you need.
Good friend, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Nominee, my question has something to do with the involvement of the military in the fighting of Galamsey. On page 78, which one? This one. What is wrong? What is wrong with it?
Address the chair and proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No.
Will your government continue with the military involvement in the fighting of Galamsey.
Thank you, Chairman. I've already described the enormity of the challenges we face. We are already aware of what has been happening with the rivers. There's nothing to write home about. And the police and the military has played a very critical role. If I get a chance as a minister, we are going to evaluate the new program. For example, I have very new, exciting ideas. Was that it's not cheap to get the military to continue permanently in these locations. So they will be in a place. It used to be that they will come in the place and clear everybody, and for 6 months nobody will be there. Now they come, clear. DSSU, we have forest guards. What about forests? What about water guards? So these ideas are going to be thought through, and we are going to come out with creative ideas to make sure that these matters that goes to the survival who are going to be trained the soul of our country, sure that we address these.
Do you have Galamsey? Very well.
Press of your mention of the water, deprivation there to my heart, and you mentioning the probable introduction of water gas is something that warms me. I hope you will be able to develop the concept and be able to implement it.
With your support, I'm sure we can.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I will then proceed to give the floor to Honorable Toffee. Please, let me repeat them for you. The first question is on mining license. The second question is on the concerned military in the fight against Galamsey, which I have given you the opportunity to ask a follow-up question, if any. And you have asked the follow-up, and the follow-up has been answered. Apparently, former minister responsible for lands and natural resources, you are not the chair.
Chairman,
So
I'm helping.
I give the floor to Honorable
Chairman,
Toffee.
just a minute before you do that, with respect. So in actual sense, he still has one question to ask, a substantive question. Please, no, second one, and then a follow-up. It was a follow-up. Yes, that's it. He can speak for himself. Chairman, let him ask the last one, and then that's it. He hasn't ruled. Not dragged.
I have given the floor to Honorable Toffee. You have the floor.
Chairman, with respect, we will not challenge you on that. Honorable Amprechum has one substantive question to exhaust, because his follow-up, the second question was actually a follow-up to the first question. So he still has one substantive question to ask, and we want to respect your directive. So let him exhaust it, and then we can go ahead. We have nothing against Honorable Fote. I'm not challenging. I'm just suggesting to him. He has the definite ruling.
Honorable Dorcas Toffee, you have the floor.
So we'll come back and you do your last.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I want to congratulate Honorable nominee. To me, I know he would deliver to make our country proud, and some of us also proud. So I want to congratulate him in advance.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Let him do just one. And then
I'll
Chairman, I'm starting. This will be my first question, so I would want you to take notice of it. Honorable Leader, congrats.
Honorable, just a minute. Chairman, let me make a suggestion to you. In order for us to indicate, this is my first question, substantive. Second one, this is my follow-up question, so that we get clarity on it, because we are not being fair to Honorable Amprechum. So proceeding forward and taking lessons from that. Honorable Kwesi Kunedu, in the
Chairman, thank you very much. Chairman, I think I have made an observation, and that is that, for instance, today, we don't have the honorable member Apiaje here. We don't have the honorable ranking member, the honorable Apenyomakin here. Now, I see that the minority would come and say that they want somebody to... We were in a meeting this morning. I didn't see you. Chairman, I think that practice must be stopped. When a member is absent, he cannot be replaced. Please, 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 let me make, because replace, please. Can I finish?
Chairman,
with all due respect.
Allowed, no.
Chairman, with all due respect.
What? Which standing order? This committee is a committee of
me. You don't have.
No, which rule?
Please, let me.
You want to make your own rules?
No, Chairman, I'm not done. Chairman, let me refer the committee to Standing Order 217, Rule 1. The Appointments Committee comprises the first person, the Deputy Minority, B, Minority Chief Whip, C, 5 other members selected based on the numerical strength of the parties in Parliament. Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, no caucus can whimsically appear before the committee and suggest that a member, bona fide member, is absent, and therefore a certain honorable member be used to replace that person. In the process of being constituted, leadership of the caucuses are mandated to submit names of leadership of practice where a member is absent. No excuse is given. Physically done. It appears to be abused. So, Chairman, with all due respect, when a member on the other side is absent, please proceed, if you have quorum, to deal with the issues. Please.
Chairman.
Thank you very
Chairman.
much.
Chairman.
Honorable members.
Chairman.
This is a house that we always say we are masters of our own rules. We are guided by the practice and convention. I believe strongly, we all know, that when our leaders are not available, leader. So that is what exactly is happening today. So with all due respect, can we make progress? Let us not use this to truncate. Honorable Akwesi Kwanedu, you have the floor. Please, you have the floor. You have the floor.
Chairman, thank you.
Order. Honorable, you have the floor.
Chairman, respectfully.
Honorable former minister, you hold on. Please, Honorable Kwanedu.
Chairman, respectfully. Chairman.
Proceed with your question.
Chairman, respectfully, can I make the appeal?
Chairman, thank you very much. Chairman, this is my first question. And I would like to lay the basis for the question so that my honorable former leader would appreciate the question. Mr. Chairman, on page 7, regulatory regime and build confidence for local and foreign investors. Our Minerals and Mining Act of 2006, Act 703, has been hailed as one of the best laws globally in terms of setting you conduct exploration and you abide by all the mining laws, you are entitled to the grant of a mining license. That is section 39.2 of Act 703. Now that we are familiar with this issue of a company that exploited for lithium for over 10 years and eventually made commercial finds and was granted a mining lease in accordance with our law, the SWAL MPP administration went on further in negotiating for an enhanced terms outside the law. And I would want to state some of this. An increment in royalties from 5% to 10% to the benefit of Ghana.
an increment in government's fee interest to be taken by the Minerals Income Investment Fund, and mandatory provision for the company to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange, which it complied with. Altogether provided for a minimum of 30% Ghana participation in the exploration of lithium, making this provision as one of the greatest values.
Please, your question.
Despite all this, that have invested in the away from them.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I think the premise of the question, I am aware that this came to Parliament and it was referred to the committee. I don't recall that the committee came back with a report that was opposed.
Any further question?
A follow-up.
Yes.
A follow-up.
Yes.
Of Parliament and present a report. So if it was halted at the committee level, it's still a halt to the investor confidence that they would have. Confidence, whether at committee level, governmental level, will be assured, such that when they put their money in exploration and abide by all the rules, laws governing mining in Ghana, their leases will be granted for them.
Chairman, I was the former energy minister, and I was very aggressive in making sure that when investors express interest in exploring oil, and we negotiate, I followed through. Ability was to have brought the agreement back from the committee. And so to say that what happened there was no a report that was debated and defeated on the floor of Parliament. But this is what I would say. When it comes to new minerals, Chairman, my strong view is that Ghana must really win in new negotiation for our new minerals, and that there must be a paradigm shift in some of these agreements to ensure that, yes, we've held some of these old in our country and make sure that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move on to my second question. The global trend towards carbon trading makes it very, very important for this country. And looking at what will be your approach at finding sustainable financing of Act 1113, that is the Wildlife Management Resource Act?
Chairman, I think that's a very, very important question. There's a lot of money, efforts, climate change, mitigation efforts. And I think that as a country, we must be seen aggressively doing things to protect our forest reserves and adding new forests. And that is why I have described some of the big initiatives that I have described. Tree for Life initiative, the diversity and ecological life will have an advantage. And we intend in reforestation so that we can attract this funding, this climate mitigation funding that you have described. And as minister, if I'm given a chance, that's the focus of my administration.
Thank you. The floor is yours, Honorable Konedu.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, my last question will be on
Chief Whip on a follow-up on the second question that you have asked.
Leader, just a quick one. The carbon trade concept and the Red Plus concept, I have told last year, it enabled the raking in of a lot of, to position ourselves as a country to buy into that concept. And you rightly spoke to deforestation and its attendant effect. What is your appreciation or understanding of the Red Plus concept and the carbon trade concept, and how will you?
Thank you, Chairman. I think these climate mitigating measures has a lot of advantages. I've already described it, and you have described one. As minister, we will take all the steps, getting the advice of experts to make sure we position our country to take advantages of all of these funding sources.
Well, one of the last acts that we did, an important role in the maintenance of the territorial integrity of Ghana. it doesn't have a dedicated funding source that would equate to the role that measures would you help put in place aside the mega budgetary allocations that they get and donor funding.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, the importance of the Boundary Commission, I witnessed firsthand how critical it is for us to protect the territorial integrity of our country, our three borders, with Togo, with Cote d'Ivoire, with Burkina Faso, and Nigeria. And I think it is imperative that we take the steps to ensure that this is done. If I get a chance to be nominated, we fully fund the Boundary Commission. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Hajia Ladi Ayamba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me first of all congratulate my able, hard-working, and don't listen to my language. I'm going to say my beautiful leader. Congratulations. May Allah guide and protect you.
Thank you.
In January 2018, revealed that $5 billion was unaccounted for in gold exports from Ghana to the United Arab Emirates. A similar report indicates that Switzerland imported $7 billion worth of gold from Ghana, but records show that Ghana exported just over $3 billion to that country. Honorable nominee, can you explain the cause of the disparity between the volumes of gold that is reported in, say, Dubai, and the volumes of gold that are reported by the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, PMMC, and what would your approach be to address this? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, this is a very serious bolster ECD in foreign exchange. We hear stories that we are being shortchanged. I think that it is a matter that we must take seriously. Chairman, if I get a nod as the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, this is a matter I'll take up seriously, working with the Ministry of Finance, working with the security agencies to basically all the way to the last point and in between, and make sure we revisit the straight accountability.
Any further question?
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Nominee, for the precise answer. Mr. Chairman, my second question is, how do you intend to address the recurring clashes between indigenous communities and large-scale mining companies, as was recently witnessed in Obuasi, and were the victims mining when they were killed? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I come for Parliament before the regions. But Chairman, I think for as the minister communities in which they operate. Chairman, this is very critical because this has gone. Chairman, if a company is given a huge tract of land to mine for a period of time, the community in that area, that's where the farming, that's where food crops were produced. And then they get to a point where they say, we can't, we have to survive. Give us an area for us to also engage in mining activities. And then that's where the problem starts. Chairman, I think that it calls for an engagement. Somehow, when you get your licenses in Accra, and you go to the communities, that is it, and all the power believe that they have the social licenses at those grassroots level, and they give them the respect and they will engage them. That way, you will see that there will be a win-win. For example, how beautiful will it be for a mining company to allow this cooperative mining that I'm talking about, to allow a community that we ourselves are going to take the lead in building your capacity, because we live here with you. We're going to help you build your capacity, and in the process, Chairman, you know, they've been here. Oftentimes, it is not the case. And I give you the example of a 2-kilometer road where a mining company, yes, they pay taxes, so that's responsibility, and how you can build trust and relationship. I think all of the things you've described comes out of that. I believe if we can reset this fundamental relationship and build trust between mining communities and companies.
Thank you very much. Very well. You have the floor for your last question.
Thank you, Chairman. The recent discovery of green minerals such as lithium in commercial quantities in Ghana has raised questions about what Ghana stands to benefit from this resource, given our experience from several years of to ensure that these new discoveries inure to the benefit of our country. Or are you yet illegally, in quotes, they are banned, as we saw?
Chairman, we must focus on this new mineral. A great hero, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, ensure that we start building the commanding heights and make sure Ghanaians are the ones holding the commanding heights of our economy, so that we simple back. And oftentimes, those research trying to make sure that these new minerals, and somebody said it in a very blunt way, if we are not going to get companies to come and add value, let it remain on the ground. That should be our mindset.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Nominee, and the precision of answers that you provide, I'm confident and believe that there is a certain agenda. And my question is, and Chairman, if I may take your leave to cite or... Yes, Chairman, I have a news item from Joy News. And it says that this was reported on the 24th January 2025. More than 100 mining-related licenses issued in the final week of Akufo-Addo's government. And the reporter is Anthony Menu. First, January 2025, 67 licenses were issued. January 2nd, 11 licenses were issued. January 6th,
please,
5
you have mentioned the total number of licenses. Proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Chairman. In all, you had over 102 lines government. I want to ask you, Mr. Nominee, mining licenses were issued between 2009 to 2016, as opposed to over 2,000 licenses from 20 in the sector. Do you think the current status quo has contributed to the increased rate of environmental destruction in the country? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, there must, when I get the opportunity to be approved as the minister, my intention is to undertake how there's so much duplication in the issue of licenses. I've talked about one individual who will be holding almost 50 licenses area, and if you put it all together, he's probably close to large-scale mining. We need to, you've brought about. In terms of what we see in the pollution of our water bodies and destruction of our environment, has to do with some of the illegalities, not only perpetrated by the illegal miners, but even people with small-scale mining licenses. That is where we must focus on, and to make sure we organize them well, to make sure we can have supervision and monitoring, to make sure we can use modern technology to focus this industry so that we will not have the challenges we've had. Thank you.
On the main question, if you have a supplementary, go ahead and ask, and I will thereafter give you the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Nominee, will you consider revoking licenses that were acquired without the process or procedure?
Thank you, Chairman.
Please.
I've said that there will be a holistic review of all of these processes were done according to the law, and so we will make sure that that is done.
Thank you very much. This is a matter of law.
Chairman, if you listen to me attentively, he alleged that over 100 plus licenses were issued by the Akufo-Addo administration just before they exited. You are now going to the ministry, and you gladly went. Data he put out. It's a newspaper.
Chairman.
Honorable
Chairman.
Minority, please come. Honorable Minority Whip. The questioner was making reference to that you want the nominee to come.
My question. I know the mining leases, the Supreme Court ruling, mining leases come to Parliament for Parliament to either approve or otherwise. I don't remember any mining lease of such volume, such mining license of such volume coming to Parliament. So what were you speaking to? You were allowing yourself for him to mislead you? Is it the case that you were allowing yourself for the honorable member to mislead you? Is that the case? No, let him answer. No, let him answer. I'm out of order. And you have the power to, you have the power to rule me.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, thank you very much. Chairman, let me plead with my counterpart, the Minority Chief Whip, who is the acting ranking. Honorable Umar, please. We want to have this done expeditiously but effectively. So if the Honorable Chief Whip has a follow-up, it shouldn't be argumentative and badgering the witness. He could act the require. If the Honorable Chief Whip has a contrary view on the matter, he could post it as a follow-up. So this can be done in a more.
Indeed, we want to do our work, but this is a House of Records. And you know, you have often made that statement, House of Records. The honorable member referenced some data. And I'm saying, for the number of months we were in Parliament before the 8th Parliament was dissolved, I do not remember. Would you confirm this or not?
But I said so. It was a question that was posed to the nominee. Yes. I do not know whether your question is to the question being posed to the nominee. I think a follow-up must emanate from the answers.
Responsibility to guide you where we are being misled. In effect, I'm saying the question was wrong because of the data he referenced. And he was misleading the nominee. He was misleading the leader. And the leader, on the spur of the moment, didn't realize that there were inaccuracies in the questioner's statement. Any of such data, Parliament has not approved any of such.
Mr. Chairman, I think
Honorable Member, Honorable Soini, you do not have the floor. Please, your microphone be off.
For small-scale mining licenses.
Let your microphone be off. Honorable Umar, you are entitled to your last question.
Thank you so much. Question. Revenue. How we can increase our exports
Can we have some order listening to the question and the answer?
In terms of aluminium. So my question is, what has prevented Ghana from developing the integrated aluminium industry to achieve the optimum impact? Aluminium.
Chairman, this is a very important area that we must work hard to unearth. Successive governments have taken a lot of steps. What is really preventing this to happen is for us to get what has really prevented the takeoff in this area. But it also requires us to really do a lot of preparatory works. As minister, I am going to work with the agencies involved to make sure that we can position ourselves to attract such investments.
Thank you, and I wish you well.
Thank you very much. I will stand on Order 2177 to recognize the Deputy Whip, Honorable Habib.
Thank you, Chairman. And congratulations, my former colleague in leadership. Just the tail or the end or your briefing from, or have you been briefed, whether there was some mining licenses over 100 that was approved?
Chairman, I read a news report. I've also not seen any rebuttal from the Minerals Commission on this matter.
My question.
Order.
Chairman, I clarify.
Honorable Habib.
Chairman.
Honorable Habib.
My question was very specific.
That you expect from the nominee, that the nominee will give you. So whatever question you ask, you must take his answer. And the answer is that he has only read in the newspapers and there was no rebuttal from the Mineral Commission.
So Chairman, Chairman, I appreciate your guidance, but I made reference to I was saying that as a deputy minority resources, when the approval, I'm not talking about newspaper.
No.
His answer. Now my next question, and I want you to be to carefully listen to me, and know that you are under oath. Know that you are under oath. And previous nominees who have appeared before this committee have admitted that they own government land or have interest in public and government land, state land, either Accra, Elenble, Pusiga, or anywhere.
No, please.
My last question, Bachama, is supposed to be a follow-up question. Your CV, residential address.
Look, a follow-up question on his interest in government land?
Yes.
Very well.
And your residential address in Ajingano, Ghana lands are state, and including where you are staying, is government and public land.
Chairman, you just told me. I didn't know that.
Chairman, my last question. Apart from the residential address that you have provided, do you have any other residential address aside this residential address? Remember, you are still under oath.
Yes, I'm under oath. I have a property in Botiano. It's Botiano.
Chairman, a property in your name. Remember, you are still under oath.
I have a property in Elenble district.
Okay, Chairman, it's okay. He's my colleague in leadership. I wish you well.
Thank you, Chairman. I wish to congratulate you on your nomination by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There have been serious agitations among the people of the Greater Accra region that fortunately or unfortunately, being the country's capital, the government has encumbered many of their lands for the public good. However, once again, but instead of the lands reverting to the allodial owners, it is alleged that government officials and public officials ended up appropriating these lands, selling them to people, sometimes even foreigners, without recourse to the allodial owners of these lands. And I'll cite a particular example, my constituency, Dadekotopon. The chiefs are not consulted when these lands are given out. My president, Atta Mills, continued working for the public good, and the government has no use. And if the government has no use for them again, are reverted to the allodial owners per Article 26 of the 1992 Constitution. Thank you.
Chairman, I think comprehensive must be done. And if indeed the right processes are done, as minister, I will make sure that once this Accra in all the areas get a right treatment that they deserve when it comes to the issues of land.
Thank you very much, but let me use the opportunity to explain to the whole world that all these issues have been dealt with.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable nominee, the people of Dadekotopon will really appreciate if these issues are taken seriously, because under the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government, some lands were released to the good people of Dadekotopon, but as we speak, those lands were never given back to the people. And so I would be grateful, the people of Dadekotopon will be grateful if these issues will be looked into, and whatever lands the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government said they have released to the good people of Dadekotopon be given to them. Thank you. Chairman, my other question, it's about the Peshi Lagoon in Dadekotopon. It has been encroached upon seriously as we speak. Before I was coming here, somebody called me, Municipal Chief Executive. I worked with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, with the Environmental Protection Agency and other agencies. And there were even signboards that will not be encroached upon. But as we realize that we have the polo courts around that,
our work was, and that those who are breaking the laws are brought to book.
Thank you very much. Any further question?
Of lands and natural resources, and congratulations.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kofi Buah, you have the floor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Chair. Congrats, Honorable nominee.
Thank you.
I've known you. The NDC government almost reduced MPP, giving it names such as state capture. As a sector minister, will you allow individuals other than state and its agencies? Thank you.
Is the president?
Chairman, I have already stated that we must jealously protect state and public lands and make sure that if it is important at all in the interest of the state to sell any state land, we do so such a way that the people of Ghana will not be shortchanged. And as minister, I will make sure that happens. And that's what I will do.
So if I got you correct,
Chairman, I will be guiding any public or state land pending the review and the report. I'm sure when I get a chance, the interest of the people of Ghana, for us as people.
Thank you. Follow
to take the follow-up question as a substantive question, by which you'll be entitled to do a follow-up.
Yes.
Other than that, should I take it to be your second question?
Yes.
Then you are entitled to a follow-up.
Right, Speaker. Yeah. Honorable nominee, directed the Lands Commission to immediately cease all sales, leases, or processing of all state and public land transactions. Meanwhile, all these pending land transactions has been sanctioned and approved by the Lands Commission. And various Ghanaians have violated the legal rights and interests of Ghanaians. If you agree with me, don't you think government?
Chairman, I do not agree. I believe that the Constitution is very clear. It vests the power of state lands in the president, who is supposed to hold it in trust of the people of Ghana. What the president is doing is to make sure that that responsibility is being exercised. And I believe that it will not be done, as our former majority leader would say, capriciously with ill intentions. It will be done in the right way and make sure that they will be prosecuted and the right penalties be applied.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dominic. When Galamsey 5 becomes so tough, the new patriotic government placed a ban on a small-scale mining, both legal and illegal. Upon assumption of office,
Honorable Member,
a ban on both legal and illegal mining of a ban. For example, say 2 years to facilitate the restoration of our water bodies and natural.
Chairman, as I've said, we know the challenges we face: degraded land, polluted water bodies, the destruction of our approach. It doesn't require ad hoc measures, and I believe that we must take our time to find the solutions that will be long-lasting approach that will help us to solve this problem permanently.
thank you. I would give the floor to Honorable. You have a follow-up on the Galamsey band. Very well.
Not
Go ahead.
Galamsey band, but on Galamsey.
Very well.
Honorable Minister, Designate, in your view, what are the fundamental reasons which cause massive destruction to our environment, especially our water bodies?
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. This is not a follow-up.
Thank you.
Very well. As Minister Designate for Lands, please have you vetted your mind respectfully?
I just gave you my address, my processes to get my land title, and that is enough to tell me that there's a lot of work to be done there, to make sure that we simplify those processes and allow Ghanaians to have services at the Lands Commission.
So my question was to the effect of state lands, but I'm sure perhaps you do not. So I'll depart and ask just a follow-up on the same one. So write an application to the effect. That is when you have seen a parcel. And when you do so, the Lands Commission now would conduct a search for government. And when that is done, they now write to the municipal or metropolitan or district assembly in which the land is, to ask for what they call the planning comments. When same is done, they revert to Lands Commission. Lands Commission now would go on to say that this land is available. They do an assessment and an inspection. When same is done, and Mr. Chair, I'm doing this just for the purposes of, for minister to know that it takes a lot to go through to first of all acquire, and I do not think that these processes have been departed from. So when same is done, then they will tell you this land is available, we have assessed it, you would have to pay a certain amount of money before a lease is engrossed. And that, before the lease is even engrossed, it comes to the Standing and Technical Committee of the Commission. Now, the Commission members debate on same before. First, they debate on even the parcel of land before they proceed to say that we will make an offer. Mr. Minister Designate, anybody who had to go through all these processes did not acquire a land legitimately.
Chairman, I think that I have been aware of the long history of the attempts by the Lands Commission, gotten to where we are. In trying to address these processes and make it easy. For example, I've been told that the digital-based map of Ghana, when it's in place, will cut all these processes and make it easy. And so I believe that the Lands Commission's bureaucratic processes, quite frankly, is really, does not really help in allowing, you are trying to get, I missed the last, what you are trying to get at. So I believe that the Lands Commission's processes must be simplified. We must help them with the technology. They've told me about digital-based map of country. If that is in place.
Is that allow the nominee to, after the answer is done, then.
For example, you can sit in the comfort of the office in Accra and assess the lands in, say, Axim, or we have to support the Land Commission to continue this digitalization process.
Honorable Minister, the ministry...
Honorable questioner, let me remind you that we are not...
Honorable Minister, the ministry you are going to, ministries that are likely to deal with issues of climate and the environment. So you have the Ministry of Lands, you have the one Honorable Mutala, my very good friend is likely to go to. And then you have Ministry of Energy and Transitions. Is it Green Transitions? And Sustainability. A Minister of State in charge of climate change and sustainability. Who is going to be the lead person with reference to issues of the environment and climate change? And what is going to be your role as Minister of Lands?
Chairman, I think that is why all these ministers, some of the ministries you mentioned are our cabinet positions. I believe that there will be an opportunity to collaborate closely with these ministries in working out and making sure that we are effective in implement. He's a very smart man. I've worked with him on the trade committee, and we have very good working relationship. And I believe that I'll do the same with my other colleagues in any that we work together. I think we'll have a chance to collaborate even more better.
So, Mr. Chair, is a follow-up. So, under this ministry, are we looking at issues of galamsey, environmental pollution, and who is going to be given the powers to deal with them directly?
There will be a cabinet environment. I want the minister responsible for lands to do ABCD. So,
with due respect, we are all here. I don't know if any of that. Definitely here.
Chairman, my third question. On the honorable nominee, on the 11th September 20 constituency, specifically at Edum Banso. Thank you very much for the question. Edum Banso, yes, imprisoned under Akufo-Addo amnesty. I want to know, honorable nominee, what would be your advice to President Mahama on this comment? Thank you very much.
Destroying our water bodies, the stories about diseases, deformities of children being born, are very serious matters that I have described. And that is why we have laid out all the programs that will give opportunity for anybody. And Chairman, let me put it bluntly. And I've said I'm going to be pursued with the support of the people of Ghana. It's going to be a bipartisan fight because it goes to the root of whether our country will survive or not. And we don't take that as a joke at all. And so let me say it clearly. I think that there was a reference to making sure that those powerful forces that are always behind the small guys, the president was making, if that's what you are trying to make. And that's the point we are making. We are not only going to go about buying the machines. Once we've created the avenue and the opportunity for the right things to be done, all those powerful people who are in the dark causing this havoc are the ones who deal with.
Chair, there's a final follow-up. This is actually Mr. Nominee, Honorable Nominee. So these powerful people that you, as you described, do you know any of these powerful people? No. And if you do, and if you...
Chairman, as I've said, we are determined to make sure, working with the people of Ghana, working with mining communities, working with our chiefs, to make sure we reset not only Ghana, but the mining sector, and to make sure we do all the right things. And we are determined to do that. If you give me the opportunity to go to the ministry, I can't wait for this work to start and to make sure that our country is healed.
Thank you. I recognize Honorable Muhammad Shahid.
Chairman, thank you very much. Leader, congratulations.
Thank you.
A very well-deserved nomination. Leader, I want us to go to land ownership and security of title. Before 2000 environment and many others. Thankfully, in 2008, a unified law was done to put all these fragments together, hoping that plagued with. And which ones are they? The turnaround time of processing documents, customer feedback. You could send your application for 2, 3, 4 years. So the new law was promulgated in 2008, the Lands Commission Act. We struggled so much to navigate our way through the Lands Commission process. Tell us if you get that the Lands Commission is plagued with. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Land Administration Project 1 and 2. There's still a lot of work to be done to make sure we simplify the doorsteps of the people of Ghana. And as Minister, that is what I intend to do. I also intend to make sure that the Land Act 1036, which really has a lot of provisions to make some of the areas and work with the Lands Commission there. I've met some of the people there, very fine people, who are determined to try to make sure that they provide good services to the people of Ghana. What I would do is to provide the leadership required to make sure that happens.
Any further question?
Yes, Chairman, just one more. And that's reserve and the pieces of legislation that have been issued in this regard, the issuance of new licenses and permits and by the Forestry Commission. And so, but practically on the ground, there are still issues. Okay, should you get a nod, what would you do to prevent mining in the forest? Thank you.
Chairman, when I'm giving the nod, and the President has already indicated publicly, is that I'll come to this House to make sure we repeal LI 2462 to make sure that there will be no new mining in forest reserve. That will be the starting point. Once we do that, then we heal the process and make sure that biodiversity and ecological life is returned to that our forests are restored again.
Thank you very much. You want to ask the last question?
Chairman, thank you so much. My very last one has to do with replacement has been quite minimal.
Chairman, the timber industry revamping is a very critical piece of start, as I said, renewing our forests and planting and making sure that we begin this exercise that are missing in our export business. And we need to go back to it. Odum, pig, and other species. We must also do. The other aspect has to do with creating an environment where the timber industry is revived, providing all the support that is needed for the new timber industry to be revived. And as minister, we will look at all those options to try to see where the support can be so that that industry is revived.
Thank you. I will recognize Roxanne Nelson, Eche Dapamako, Honorable.
Chairman, thank you very much. My leader, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I have no doubt in your abilities at all. And so I wish you all the best. We'll be here to support you.
Thank you.
On the floor anytime you bring your business. It's,
sure.
Just yes or no. So, His Excellency from traditional areas that lost their land during the construction of the Akosomo Dam, for which compensations due them haven't been paid. Your Excellency has assured them that his government will refocus on that, those traditional areas that have been left out in the payments will be paid. So in South Dine, we have the Pali traditional area and the Tongo traditional area. As you consider expediting work on that promise so that my people can be paid.
Chairman, yes, I'll be happy to do so.
Brilliant. Now, we have also, for the state, the more people register, the more revenue we generate. Now, individual landowners in the new Land Act are encouraged to register their lands, even to the remotest areas. So will you consider establishing land registration offices at the assemblies, so as we have the district offices, so they can assist our rural folks who own farmlands, family lands, individual lands, two lands, so they can register them. Registration center will be closer to them. They are not put at great expense in going through the processes to having their land properly registered and demarcated. Would you consider that?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, this is very, very important. And this is a very important first step. The people of Ghana must have these government services at their fingertips, at their districts. And as our country grows, with the effort to get the government at the district levels must also be deepened. And as Minister, I intend to work with the Lands Commission to fulfill that.
Thank you very much. Now, would you also regarding how land title certificates are issued, it's too laborious and time consuming. Would you consider revising that system?
Surely, as I said earlier, a digital map, a base map, will simplify these processes and allow, as it is, the whole 2 weeks, they are looking for the file. We must get to the point where...
So you consider revising it?
Definitely, definitely.
Thank you. Now, oil has been found in commercial quantities in the... as we speak, the country and Togo, Ghana and Togo, are in negotiations regarding some maritime disputes. I believe that you consider, when you get the nod, and you will get the nod, you consider prioritizing this process so that that negotiation can be concluded expeditiously, so oil exploration activities can take place in the basin. You consider that?
I mean, that should be a top priority, as I stated.
Okay. Yes.
Which one? Last question?
Yes, my last question. Now, there will be a need to improve the land demarcation in that coastal area, in the Keta Avu Lagoon area, because when exploration begins, you know of the environmental impacts, whether adversely or otherwise. And you also consider remapping and redemarcating this environmental land use and reuse and all that in the area for purposes of the exploration. You consider that?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Once more, I wish you all the best, my leader. Chairman, that will be all.
Thank you, Honorable Patrick Yabuama. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, your member. Kofi, you are promising the people of this country proceeds from mining, let me put it that way, and also offset and use part of the 5% royalty. Honorable Collins Dowda, how are you going to do this? It requires a drain on our revenue base.
Chairman, obviously these are matters that get a note. These are manifesto proposals that must be fleshed out. I'll engage the Ministry of Finance and we'll see the way forward.
To seek amendments, two, on the floor of Parliament. I realize you've spoken at length on the Lands Act of 2020, and you seem to have some challenges with some aspects of the Lands Act. Which aspects do you have issues with, and what amendments will you be bringing to the floor?
I think the only thing I've said is that be repealed, and that's what I intend to do. I am sure that when I get to the ministry, we will have a comprehensive review of the Lands Act. I'm not able to tell you specific areas that must be focused on at this point.
Last question, Chairman. I'm being brief. And there's also a policy position on the salt industry. And if you look at Article 2681 and 2, you require a certain number of MPs to ratify some of these concepts. And it's hindered a lot of ratifications on the floor. Do you think, as a House now, we should look at lowering the threshold to enable a lot of investors coming into those sectors?
Thank you. Chairman, these are final resources. We must, if we are agreeing to allow resources that are finite to be given to any foreign investor, the to-touch threshold is important. It doesn't matter where you are. The interest of the people of Ghana must always guide our decisions. And so if the agreements are going to be right, there's no point in reducing the bar at all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The chairman gave me a follow-up. You realize that if Parliament expired, some of which are on bauxite, lithium, and other leases, are you considering arrangements? Thank you.
Chairman, right, and the right decisions will be made on behalf of the people of Ghana.
Thank you. It's now the turn of.
Very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, Kofi, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, if I can call my friend Kofi. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chairman.
I have no doubt in the days of your time at the Energy Ministry. So I know you do well, and it's a very good appointment. I just have a couple of questions for you. the ministry, with that ministry, what will be your of course, you'll be inundated with a lot of issues. But when you arrive there, what will be your top 3 priorities when you are given the nod? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, the first priority is to stop the bleeding and make sure that we bring sanity in the mining area and allow, we heal our rivers, we heal our water bodies, we heal our forests and bring back our biodiversity and ecology back, and even plant more trees and continue the process by making sure that finally we are able to get people not to destroy our forests and our water bodies, but to, if you are interested in mining, there's a better way to do it. That is clearly a priority. My second priority will be that in the lands ministry, we have done things manner.
Follow up on this particular question. But my next question, this I think will be an opinion, because I'm not aware of any such policy. But can I ask my question? I have seen it. Just in your own opinion, or if you've spotted anything anywhere, but what would you, I mean, Ghana is a country that has abundant in terms of natural resources. We've been producing gold for hundreds of years, diamonds and all that. But yet we are not getting enough. We don't seem to be getting enough export revenue, enough royalties, enough carried interest. What will be your priority in terms of the table of minerals that I have mentioned, that you will focus on, or to add on to what we are already doing, to make sure that we expand our export revenue base and also be able to get all the other benefits that we get in terms of carrying?
Your opinion, but your priority.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I think it's a very important question. There are a lot of new minerals we describe as green minerals that are very critical. But Chairman, I think we talked a lot about lithium. There's salt, there's clinker, there's clay. We must look at the narrative and make sure that these new minerals are where we are going to really, we must add value to the things we have comparative advantage and change our story. I've said that if we discover new mineral today, we say that we are looking for those who will come and add the value here. And I tell you this, if we insist that that's all, we create the jobs and give us the ultimate advantages in terms of value, is what we will create. And so going forward, I think we must economy. And as minister, that is what I will drive.
Thank you. Mentioning lithium, you are in the central region. Agreements are being signed. More will be signed in the future. As a minister, how would you ensure that that are created in the way of jobs and other proceeds that we get are actually done in the interests of all of us in Ghana, but not a selected few? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I think that this is a very important question. These big investors that are coming to Ghana to negotiate must also be ready to go to the negotiating table with all the experts in the world, the best practices in the world, to make sure that we understand their trust, to make sure we can make the right decisions on their behalf. As minister, I will be guided by this principle in any negotiation.
Honorable Emmanuel in your new ministry. I know that you will get through, and I know you do a good job for Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the chief whip who is acting as ranking members are not limited to the number of questions they are supposed to ask. So I'll go by the practice and convention and what the committee has agreed upon. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Chairman, let me start off by joining colleagues to commend our former deputy leader. We've had a very good working relationship. And just a number of questions. Honorable nominee, I've heard you speak eloquently about the newfound minerals. And I hear you, your passion. What are the hindsight lessons flowing from what we are used to and departing from the challenges associated with the traditional minerals?
Thank you, Chairman. I think we've made some progress in the extractive industry in terms of where we've come from, on how quick we can move in terms of flaring of gas. Rest in peace, and President Mahama, who were steadfast that we must stop flaring and make sure that we monetize our gas. Today, it is and ensure that the new minerals that are coming are minerals that will be near to the benefit. Value additions be done in country that we insist. For example, we are talking about the mining industry. 30 years ago, I'm sure the technology required to do mining was not in place. So, for example, big companies will come here and they'll bring billions and billions of dollars. We must begin a process of indigenizing these services and building the capacity of Ghanaians to be in a position that if we get and set our minds to it and put in systems that support indigenous Ghanaians in this effort. And as minister, and I think with my...
Okay, so you mentioned indigenizing the sector. And you were in leadership. The former deputy minister has spoken to the content in parts. Chiefly 30% dedicated local participation. How do you appreciate, or what lessons can you glean from the Lithium agreement that was brought by the NPP administration to Parliament, in the 8th Parliament? Lessons.
I think we must take these matters on a case-by-case basis. And as minister, as I've indicated, I am going to this ministry with a mindset that negotiations must, of necessity, make sure that Ghana, the people of Ghana, have all the advantages, that will build Ghanaian capacity, that will make sure that in-country spent is increasing every day, that will make sure that we position even the Ghanaian private sector to be in a position to do some of these works. Because when they do, their capacity, their revenues, and the money they get stays in this country. And I believe...
Honorable, your then minority, some of your colleagues on the Energy Committee then, relative same lithium agreement, were not in support. And it's not debatable. It was a fact. They were resisting that agreement. On hindsight benefit, and also being told the fact of the agreement, would you say that your approach to that agreement then was wrong, were not patriotic. If you had thought about it again, it's an agreement that should have been allowed to be passed.
Chairman, I think this must be put in perspective. They were not in support of what? People have specific, genuine concerns about different aspects of the agreement. And so I think that individuals, and even people on the other side of the aisle, were not comfortable with certain provisions here and there. And as members of parliament, I think we must respect that.
Well, I do not remember any parts of the agreement that we then majority was not in support of. If you do, share with this committee and go further to elucidate on the part of...
Said that the agreement went to the committee and never came back to the floor. And I think that it will be a little bit of a futile exercise to talk about an agreement that is still with the committee that never came to the floor for us to deal with it. And so I don't know where you're driving at, but that's my point.
Honorable Leader, what I'm basically driving at is I get your sense of patriotism, and you keep harping at it. We shouldn't be repeating mistakes of the past. And I know you agree with me to that end. So, our inability to pass them on your side, and why were you not supporting its passage?
And I think what I can say, and if I want to agree with you, I think that as of Parliament, and it comes to these agreements, we must always make sure that we take off our partisan hats and put on our patriotic hats. And that is what I would say, and I expect every member of Parliament to do that. And Ghana, it has nothing to do with party politics. The question that we have to ask is that, will this inure to the benefit of the people of Ghana? And I'm sure once we answer, as members of Parliament who has been strong with the responsibility to stand up and protect the interests of the people of Ghana.
Honorable Leader, then candidate Mahama, now His Excellency President Mahama, illegal miners who have been incarcerated. Now, I recognize that the granting of amnesty is the president's right. You are profiting illegal mining at one hand, arrest all the perpetrators, and the president will also be freeing them. You arrest them for abuse of the law, and the president will free them.
The commitment of President Mahama to make sure that we stop illegal mining is not in doubt. And I think it is of contest. I think when somebody is speaking about the big elephant in the room, who has been the real cause of the problem, real issue, and this is what we have to talk about, because we are not going back to repair the damages that we all know has happened. I am very proud of the passion of the president and the plan that he has laid in place, the initiatives that he has espoused, the Blue Ghana initiative and the Restore Ghana initiative, the attempt at decentralizing the regulatory institutions, the cooperative mining, the recategorization of mining into small scale, medium scale, and the engagement of the local communities, including chiefs, to make them champions in this effort. I believe this cumulatively is what will get us to win the fight. President Mahama is committed to that. But what he's saying is that, listen, let's clear all these bottlenecks and give the opportunity to the more than 3 million direct and indirect people who are engaged in illegal mining, and create a pathway for them to do the right thing. And that's what we are going to do. But we are going to make sure, and let me say it clear, those who are going to still insist that they are going to engage in illegal mining, mining in water bodies, mining in forest reserves, wanton destruction of our forests. They should be ready.
Okay.
Order.
So,
please.
So just be tolerant. So the question was, the president free illegal miners, and he was quoted rightly. Now my question to you, leader, is, the president said, what context are you speaking now?
I think, Chairman, as is the enormity of the challenges in front of us. And I'm not here to talk about political platforms. I'm here because I know where President Mohammed's heart is. I know it through the policies he has espoused. I know the things he has said that has given him the mandate of the people of Ghana. And I'm here to tell the people of Ghana that the new government is committed to ensuring that there will be no new mining in forests reserved. The new government is committed to make sure that we protect our water bodies with new initiatives. The new government is going to make sure that we follow the law.
That proceed to your CV, page 2 of your CV. I'm interested. You must have achieved something. Will you apprise this House in the face of all the beautiful things you've said or spoken to in terms of mining, protecting flora and fauna, our water bodies and all that? Mines and Energy Committee, in this context?
Chairman, I'm very proud of my record as ranking member. I work closely with President Akufo-Addo, so that the issues that came before us were in the interest of the people of Ghana. And that's what I will continue to do.
It's not convincing, you know. It's not convincing. But, well, allow... Well, let me proceed further.
Honorable Chief,
Honorable
be
Leader,
convinced.
I should be convinced.
Yes.
All right. It should E. Let's go down to H. Member. Can you elucidate on it?
Chairman, I was then a deputy minister. I was a very lucky person when one afternoon my minister invited me to President Mills and our illustrious, and there were a team of about 5 or 6. Really, the committee that laid the groundwork for what we now know as Ghana Gas and the gas infrastructure, and it was such a privilege.
Okay, on the same page of your manifesto as page 2.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so F, keynote speaker, November 2009, Trinidad and Tobago. What did you go there to do?
Chairman, it was a very early stages of the ministry. We had just started the government. We were learning best practices. And I think that I went there to talk about the gas industry we were trying to build and learning the lessons of Trinidad and Tobago. And so those are the things that we talked about.
On same page, and Growth Week, keynote speaker, September 2010, London. Growth Week, what's that?
Well, I think this is an annual event. I think it's as an annual event on the down and product availability and all the regulatory things that will make the downstream petroleum industry work.
Leader, come with me. If I'm not sure you have the Hansard parliamentary debate. I have Hansard Friday, 3rd January 2025. And with the permission of the chair, I want to quote extensively your words. Deputy Minority Leader, Mr. Emmanuel Kofi Buah, for the message on the state of the nation that he has just delivered. Mr. Speaker, I need to remind you that the people of Ghana have already given their verdicts on the true state of the nation, and you got a good cheer for that. And that verdict was very clear. Economic hardship, huge debt, overhang, high youth unemployment, hopelessness, and more. We have come to the end of the road for what has been undoubtedly the worst government under the Fourth Republic. And you got a good cheer for that. Mr. Speaker, this abysmal record was confirmed on 7 December 2024 when the people of Ghana returned the most overwhelming and emphatic vote of the region. Engage you extensively on this matter. It was a very emotional moment for a president who was exiting. And you know that it was not all hopelessness under His Excellency President Akufo-Addo. You have spoken in admission others. Sitting in this chair now, the benefit of hindsight, and reflecting deeply, would you say that these words were harsh on the outgoing president? And when you are given the opportunity...
I have enormous respect for President Akufo-Addo and any president that will occupy this highest seat of our land, because the decisions that they are confronted are enormous and grave. And so I don't think we take that lightly at all. I believe, and that's the people of Ghana, no way disrespectful. It was simply to talk about the government of the day. And yes, obviously, there were very good things, some things that were done that obviously we can talk about, that were right, obviously. But I was so much hardships. And that's why the reference was to his government and not to his person. Thank you.
Okay, so...
Please, order.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You've spoken in context and in part. I get the sense that, well, you were only a conveyor belt, conveying the aspirations and the views of people, of Ghanaians. But as a leader, you also had a responsibility then to pick and choose and to convey, and a very emotional moment for us as a country. Reflecting deeper, would you say that some of your words...
I can convey the exact things that I said. And then another opportunity, I can use those words.
Okay, so come with me. There was an earlier question on land guards. And you answered in part. The new Land Act, can you educate us on what it seeks to do or to do? And
clearly has dealt with the issue of land guards and made it clear that we just apply the law.
Kofi Buah, you...
Honorable members, we have an act dealing with vigilantism, and then we also have a land act.
The involvement of chiefs or traditional leaders in dealing with mining challenge will be topmost in your scheme of things. Can you explain the role the chiefs will play vis-a-vis the law?
Structure. For example, where persons will get prospecting licenses. That structure is problematic in the first place. Can we do it in a way that before that license is given, the input of the chief and community leaders is part of the process of issuing that license? So, for example, we won't have a situation where we'll go back and write a petition to the Minerals Commission and said, the prospecting license area you've given to this person cannot, because the river is too close to the area you've given. Shape or the change I talk about is to make sure that we decentralize this process. We get this feedback early in the process before these licenses are issued.
Minister, do you appreciate that there's a difficulty there, especially in its implementation?
Anytime you come up with ideas, as I said, these are early times yet. I'm going to go to the ministry with lawyers, with experts, and I'm sure that I will get the benefit of the advice and input to make sure we can fine-tune this, making sure that we work within the laws and making sure that in areas where there's conflict, we address it. But I think that some of the ideas I'm bringing are things that we can look at.
Leader, you earlier bemoaned they are not there. You said that, maybe you forgot, and spend a fleeting period and go off. You said that. And then when they are needed, it becomes difficult, kind of. What will you do?
Chairman, I think that we saw some of the experiences of, is it Galamstop, where some of what happened meant that the structure that was put in place was really not well thought out, because they will go to the situations where soldiers have been overpowered. I'm saying that going forward, we must really approach this in a view to making sure that it is long-lasting, that the solutions are enduring. So, for example, I talked about making sure, knowing that we can't get the soldiers to patrol rivers permanently, what can be done? And I'm proposing that the same way that we have forest guards, we can have well-trained water wardens or water guards that are trained to understand the challenges we face, so that even when the soldiers come and go, there's always constant monitoring. We're using modern technology to make sure that the soldiers are brought in when needed. So these are ideas that I brought up.
Yes. And you must premise your ideas on the unique happenings in our country. You talked about best practices in clamping down on destruction of water bodies, illegal mining, so that it just doesn't become ideas, but the ideas are.
Of course, Chairman, that's exactly what I will do. When I get a chance to into all these new ideas, best practices.
Can I assure you that the minority, we have well-prepared and good alternatives? So that's the understanding I get. So when you consult us, in fact, the minister was here a while ago. The Honorable Obri is here. I see my good friend Kwesi Kunedu and Prechum. All of them are very experienced. So if you'll be humble enough to reach to us, I will not be unnecessarily partisan. We'll give it to you pro bono. What do you say to that?
Well, Chairman, it's not the ideas, it's the results. And I've already described giving you your scorecard. Degraded land, polluted water bodies, our forests completely gone. That's the results. And so that's what we are going to try to turn around.
In fact, I heard you loud and clear. Now, on your thinking on Ramsia site, you know the ecological effect and the overarching effect on protection and preservation of biodiversity. Ramsia sites are day in, day out facing destruction all over the place. There are a number of places in Osu that are being encroached upon, and you do appreciate their relevance. Do you have specific plans to dealing with that?
I think that the laws are very clear. I think we need to strengthen and tighten enforcement. We need to make sure that the laws in the books are applied.
Assuming your high-ranking party official or party apparatchiki is encroaching on the Ramsey site, and you have been told, and the person is well connected. For instance, your party chairman, assuming...
Honorable member, my party chairman will not encroach on any land.
Fine, that's fine. Chairman, thank you very much. Maybe let me use you as an example.
I will also not encroach on any land.
Okay.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Yes.
And I will not go encroaching.
Good.
NDC, we are law-abiding, so no encroachment.
All right. Well, let this day be written. Let this day be written down. That on a day, a certain minority chief whip asks you this same, will be your approach.
Chairman, this morning I swore by the Bible to defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and make sure that the right things will be done. And as minister, I'll be focused on that.
I'm an environmentalist, and it's something that is very dear to my heart. The past administration did a lot. We had a Green Ghana Day. At the time, Parliament had to go on break for all of us to support in our constituencies, the planting of trees and all that. You know, the plantation of vegetation feeds into the REDD+ concept and the carbon trade. What will you do for us to enhance this opportunity and rake in all the dollars that we can have as a result of the good...
Our vegetation and bringing ecological life back, our biodiversity must be consistent. The Green Ghana event is celebrated one day in a year. I think that the effort must be consistent, must be on a daily basis, must be part of us. And I think what we have to do is restore Ghana and green Ghana, not on special occasions, but on a daily basis. We'll bring in policies that will really focus on this and make sure that it is part of our daily life, to make sure that we see our environment, tree for life, with our water bodies blue and green all area with trees. How do we make sure that every Ghanaian understand that wherever you live, check and make sure that 25% of your land area is covered with trees? These are the efforts we must really start making to get all of us to get to that point where we are proud that, yes, we have really for so long. So that's what we'll be doing.
Okay, so plantation becomes a way of life. Even where we had it as ceremonial, we had challenges, not just the planting, social imperatives and the demands in this context.
Chairman, yes, well, every time there's a will, there's a way. And we must have the will, there will be a way.
Leader, it's not just about saying where there is a will, there is a way. Yes, we all know that. That cliche is known. We all know it. Tell us specifics. And I mean that. Let me finish.
3 major proposals.
Can you let me finish my question? Yes, thank you very much. You said we are going to depart from what we are used to. We are going to depart from solutions. We've heard you say, oh, we are going to do this. The things of the old, it will not repeat itself. Yes, we are tired of hearing that. Give us specific solutions.
And I've brought 3 very important proposals. There will be the Tree for Life initiative. This is not just focused on the forest and restoring the forest. We are bringing it to every individual household in urban areas to inculcate the habit of planting. We're going to get everybody excited about doing this, about greening Ghana, about planting trees. And as the young people and focused, we can achieve that.
What is your plan towards exploitation of salt as a mineral?
Chairman, I've already said that we need to make sure that salt exploitation is very critical, and it's one of the minerals that will help really change our country. And so in the areas where this salt is, we're going to look into that to make sure. And then as we are doing it, we do it in a way that makes sure that it adds value. We create industries that will come out of it. That's where we create jobs. That's where we empower Ghanaians. And that's where the focus.
And the chairman will permit me to just make a quotation. The next NDC government would abolish the community mine of its own purpose and establish artisanal small-scale mining corporation for community members interested artisanal small-scale mining. You had earlier intimated to decentralize the mining process. And at this point, you are also seeking to abolish community mining system. How do you marry the two, or the two
Chairman,
statements?
I've already described the reasons why the community mining was just mining. The community mining that was envisioned, that's a good idea. But its implementation was a complete departure from that idea. And I gave you the example of it's selected by the machines and capacity. They've negotiated and getting a piece of land. And then they've already negotiated the percentages. I'm not sure how many people in the community were, and they will pay them 50 cedis or whatever. But at the end of the day, they will be there and they will go and say, community, this is your money, 100,000 Ghana cedi. How much did you get that you are bringing me 100? I'm saying that the departure from this is a program that is going to truly involve the community. In the sense that this is not because we have already given the capacity and sensitization and the training to the community. We have given them the decentralized regulatory escape to register their mining company. We have set up the structure to provide all the services needed for them to operate. They will be in the lead, identify mineralized areas, and all the services they need around. The gold board that we envision will be available, paying what they need to pay, but they are also selling the gold at the right market value, empowering them. That is truly what community mining should be. And that's what we will do.
I see. All right. Honorable nominee, interestingly, you mentioned the board will seek to regulate small-scale mining, amongst other things. Yes, it's there. It's captured in your manifesto. I can quote it for you. Are you not sure what you should be seeking to resources, capacity, training, and all that? My gold board. Wouldn't they be fighting the already existing Minerals Commission as an agency that is backed by law? You don't think so? And if you don't, you have to explain in detail.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, anytime you have new proposals, I was here in Parliament when GISDEC was being seeming conflict and other things. By the time we sat down and looked at it, all those were ironed out. I think these manifesto proposals are the experts engage key stakeholders and make sure we iron it out. Because the intention is a good one, to make sure that we empower people at the local level and make sure that they are mining responsibly. Yes.
Yes. And you know that Dr. Apak is not here. He has come to personify the advocacy on Rosewood stint. Has he come to you, and what is your thinking going to the ministry?
Oh, I'm aware of it. I remember some of the efforts that were made. You remember the story of Resoures that were seized, and we were promised by the former minister that those seized items will be used for the cathedral.
I thought you were going to try and land safely, but you are trying to brush stains in my face.
You are still airborne.
Anyway, you are still airborne.
That was a fact. It was said on the floor.
Honorable nominee, you have landed.
Okay, let me test your knowledge, and this will be my conclusion. Yes, he's going to a ministry. Honorable nominee, climate change, which I know you are passionate, and I recall many occasions when statements are made, the things you've spoken to and your position have polluted to be where they are today. And now countries like Germany are shutting down their coal plants and all that. And people make the argument that Africa should also pollute a bit. We should be allowed to pollute a bit to come up to a certain stage. Climate change issues will come to you, and they will be selective as a developing country and get our priorities right based on our unique position as Africa and where we are in terms of industrialization.
I think that the design, it's a clear reflection of our commitment to this reality of climate change in terms of fairness, in terms of who are the pollutants. Indeed, we are like a tiny bit in it. And so I think that in every discussion, we must put it in context and understand our impact in polluting and those who are really aggravating the issues of climate change. I think that's important. But that does not prevent us to be proactive. That is why I'm excited about the focus in the Ministry of Energy to make sure that we continue to focus on our goal of making sure that we can look at other sources of renewable sources of energy. This must be done in all the other areas because it's important. It's important. So this issue is very, very important. But frankly, for example, when we talk about this issue, we must talk about it in the context of where we are in our development. And this is important. They are talking about us moving away from, some of the resources underground, our oil resources. When, quite frankly, we need a lot of gas to be able to develop. Our view is that this is the time to aggressively exploit these resources and get to the point where these developed countries are. And when we get there, we will be talking like they are talking.
Okay, last one. The COPs, Conference of Parties, often speaks to conservation, smartness in terms of what we do as a country, and sustainability. These, and what will be your position when it comes to sustainability in terms of environmental conservation?
Chairman, that must be seen because it's in our interest, it's in the interest of our future, it's in the interest of the future of our children. We must be proactive in some of the things we do even now.
Mr. Chair, let me commend my friend, former deputy leader, for having attempted to ask my question. And he's done well. Even though a few of them, he's been evasive, I can forgive him for that. And to wish him the very best of luck when he's finally approved of by this House. I thank you, and congratulations, my brother.
Thank you, Chairman.
Ama Kofi Buah. First on my list is Mrs. Joyce Buah, spouse of the nominee.
The chorister.
Nana Kobnan Katia, the 5th, Paramount Chief of Esikado Traditional Area. Inside, okay. Awulai Angama, 2, Ajan, the 2nd, Paramount Chief of Ejura Traditional Area. Awulai Atebrukusu, the 3rd, Paramount Chief, Lower Axim Area. Nana Kokwale Menzizo Elembele. Nana Awube, the 2nd, Ejuakople Osaberima Ajari Tinade, the 2nd, Chief of Kede. Sheikh Suleiman Mozu, Alhaji Osman Zakaria, Reverend Alex Donko, Very Reverend Stephen B. Mensah, Prophet Joseph Aful, Kinsley Nana Opoku, Nana Ete Akrade, the 2nd, Chief of Dura Bonso. Family and friends, representative from the NDC Regional Office, representatives from Mineral Commission, Lands Commission, Forestry Commission. You are welcome. Before discharging you, I recognize the presence of Apo. Honorable nominee, you are discharged, you usually hear from us. The next nominee should prepare to take the seat.